This is absolutely one of the most beautiful things you're going to see in a while.
Progressives are powerless now. Okay, they have no credibility. They are completely powerless. They refused to recalibrate. They continued promoting policies that made the lives of working class people far worse in liberal cities, okay? And now no one's going to listen to them when it comes to the bread and butter issues. Yeah. They have no power.
They have no power because they have nothing to offer, and they're not offering anything other than, we're not with Trump, we're not orange, we're not bad, and the ability to abort your baby whenever you want and for whatever reason.
Look, guys, do we want people who smoke pot to be going to prison? Absolutely not. Do we want the draconian laws? Absolutely not. But we never said let all the prisoners go. When did we say that?
Conservatives and Republicans don't want that either. And that's why the left has nothing left to offer. All of these issues, like conservatives and Republicans don't want people who smoke pot put in jail. Where is your distinction? What separates you from the conservatives other than we want DEI? That's your main separation. At this point, there's no economic difference between the two parties.
The thing that surprised me least about the election was the sharp red shift in these big cities. Because if you just talk to anybody who lives in them, they are furious. And this idea that like, oh no, the economy is actually good or crime is actually down, this is all just Fox News, like shut with that.
Congratulations, everyone. Libs have caught on to something that we figured out 2 years ago. Crime...
Congratulations, TYT. You figured out something that we figured out 10 years ago.
Is a problem. And if you just tell people, voters specifically, that it's not a problem, and it was way worse in the 90s, so you shouldn't be complaining, there will be backlash. There will be blood, okay?
I just realized that Anna and I are... We're ready for the Turtle Club, Anna.
But am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Yeah, I follow politics, and I also live in the place I live. And I've been furious for several years now. And everyone immediately, oh, Anna's just a secret right-winger. Anna's just a secret right-winger. No. I'm not a secret right-winger. I see the dysfunction, and I see working-class Americans getting their catalytic converters stolen, okay, getting their homes broken into, getting assaulted on the subway or the train. Living in LA, I mean, there's homeless people everywhere, right? So I've never had problems. I didn't think anything of it. But as I was...
You don't think that's because housing prices are triple than where they are in other places in the U.S.? Not to mention the weather's nice, but yeah, those two things don't help.
Bending down to pick up my dog's mess, one of the guys like grabs me by my hips, and he had an erection. Oh God. And just starts like humping me. Holy and shit. I didn't know what to do. I opened up about this on the show. Not really thinking.
So you're picking up your dog's shit and somebody starts humping you? I know exactly what you should have done. You just, right there, not on yourself.
Thinking much of it. And before I know it...
No, you know what? Yeah, do it on yourself. You got to fight crazy with crazy. You throw the dog shit in your own face. You look that guy in the eye and you tell him, although he might like that. You know what? Don't take my advice.
Starting to get these messages, and it's like really, really harsh stuff. And it's about how you are painting a picture of the homeless community. You know, how could you be like this? You know, these are your unhoused neighbors and they need help. A few people accuse.
Hold on a minute. Look at her face. Oh my God.
Need help. A few people accused me of being racist when I had never disclosed the race of the individuals who did this to me. And in fact, they were white.
They eat their own, mama.
I can't believe she hates white people that bad.
Some of the people...
They eat their own on the extreme left.
And I'm supposed to just shut my mouth about it and tell everybody everything's fine because it's not the 90s? No, I'm not going to wait until after the election to talk about how it's a problem. I'm going to talk about it well before the election so, maybe Democrats, maybe progressives can recalibrate. But that's the thing about the left. They don't believe in recalibrating, okay? They think they know it all. They think they're the best. They think that anyone who crosses them or tweaks them or critiques them is the bad guy. And congratulations, in the state of California, Donald Trump flipped 10 blue counties into red counties. Let's take a look at the map. This is the electoral map. First one on the left-hand side, of course, is from 2020. And then, oh, would you look at that? One of the most liberal parts of the country has become increasingly. I wonder why that happened.
In New York, last time Biden won, Trump lost by 24. This time he only lost by 12. Remember, he was talking about how he's going to win New York, and of course he wasn't going to win New York, and that was outrageous. But what he was getting at is, I'm going to do a lot better than you expect, and he did. Except there was one show that expected it, and it was us.
So Cenk predicted that a bunch of counties would move right, but he also predicted that Kamala was going to win? How does that work?
My official prediction that I am forced into by my own network is 286 to 252 Kamala Harris with tons of fingers crossed.
You better start crossing your legs, Cenk, because he's coming to grab your pussy.
And the number one reason why I'm crossing those fingers is because 4 years with Donald Trump will be utter chaos, anarchy, pilfering, oligarchy, amplified on steroids, putting his donors completely in charge of the government. Elon Musk will be in charge of domestic policy. Miriam Adelson will be in charge of foreign policy. This is not how it's supposed to work.
RFK Jr. will be in charge of medical and health policy.
I mean, this is madness, guys.
Oh, shit. That's too good. Rich.
Go to a segment featuring Harry Enton because, you know, they did their post-election analysis and they noticed a trend when it came to, you know, the blue parts, like the bluest parts of the country and what they have noticed following the 2024 presidential election. So let's take a look at that.
Donald Trump put up the best Republican performance for a Republican nominee for president in at least 20 years, if not the entire 21st century. We're talking about Chicago, Los Angeles, New York City, San Francisco. Across the map, Donald Trump put up historically strong numbers for Republican candidate for president in places that, truthfully, if you had asked me 8 years ago, I would have never thought possible.
No, I mean, it is really stunning. So what exactly is driving it?
What's driving it? You know, I think immigration, one of the things you mentioned earlier on in that last segment, is part of it, but I think crime is a big part of it as well.
Yep.
If you look at Gallup polling and you ask Democrats nationwide, are you satisfied or dissatisfied with our efforts to control and bring down the crime rate? What you see is the dissatisfaction number now versus a decade ago. Look at that. The unsatisfied number from 35% to 58%. The satisfied number dropped by 20 points.
Just go to them and tell them everything's fine. Crime isn't as bad as it was in the 90s. That's not politics, okay? That's not trying to win. That's digging your heels in and insisting that you're right, even as there's widespread concern over these issues. These are, look, the main role of government is to protect its citizens. And in these situations, in these blue cities, when the public doesn't feel that Democratic leadership is doing enough to protect working class people, okay, they're not going to favor the Democrats. And as they're being gaslit, they're just going to increasingly get angry. How do I know that? Because I've experienced it firsthand myself. Progressives are powerless now. Okay, they have no credibility. They are completely powerless. They refuse.
So, Anna, let me ask you this. If the Democrats aren't offering these things, and therefore people are voting for the right, that would suggest that the right is offering a solution to these things. And if it really bothers you that these problems exist, then perhaps you should be voting for the party that is more likely to solve those problems.
Refused to recalibrate. They continued promoting policies that made the lives of working class people far worse.
Can I just say, I really like her hair. Whoever did her hair, good job. I like it.
In liberal cities, okay? And now no one's going to listen to them when it comes to the bread and butter issues. Yeah. They have no power. I mean, it's just so ridiculous to me, but that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So when people tuned into our election coverage and they were like, well, why isn't Anna upset? I wasn't upset because I knew it was coming.
There's a second part of that that's so important, Anna. You're right. It ironically ruins the progressive brand, even though it was the establishment Democrats that actually passed it into law in California. We didn't do anything about it. And it ruins it when we have incredibly popular policies, including Medicare for All, that polls at 70%.
Now, there's a policy I care about. In fact, Medicare for All is as a small business owner, I would be able to compete with these large corporations if everyone just had Medicare for all. Because then people would be more willing to work for me, because as a small business owner, I can't provide health insurance. Most startups can't provide health insurance. These large corporations love the fact that Medicare for all doesn't exist, because they know that they can lock in their employees, and their employees can't leave or job hop around, because the main thing that keeps people out of job is their health insurance.
The economically popular policies are progressive, but now you can't say progressive because they made progressive into pro-crime and pro-extreme policies.
70% of voters in California approved Proposition 36, which is a reversal of an earlier ballot measure.
Proposition 36 on the November ballot would change California law when it comes to punishments for drug use and for theft. Under current law, as long as you only steal $950 or less, that's a misdemeanor. That's a sort of a citation. Even if you do it a dozen times in an afternoon, that's a dozen different citations. Prop 36 would change that. For those who are offended multiple times, you could end up in state prison. Plus, it would start a new category where if you're a drug user, you will have a choice, either go to state prison or go to court-ordered rehabilitation. Now, it's supported by the California District Attorneys Association, California Retailers Association. They say crime is out of hand. We need to do something. We need to get tough. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, he's opposed. He says it will result in mass incarceration, particularly for Black and brown Californians.
Whoa, Newsom, that is quite racist of you. What are you saying? Wow, that is some bullshit.
Prop 36, really the marquee ballot measure for the state, getting tough on crime.
That everyone was lied to about, right? Like the whole idea was, hey, we're going to stop putting people in prison for minor drug offenses or drug possession. In reality, what that proposition from 2014 did is it lessened all sorts of serious felonies into misdemeanors. And now no one in the state trusts the left on these issues. And so there was a ballot measure this time around regarding forcing inmates to do labor, right, against their will.
The California Constitution currently contains the following two sentences. Slavery is prohibited. Involuntary service.
This is where we're at. Damn it. Damn. Oh, big government. God. Man, they're always just getting in the way of the free market. Libertarians are going to be pissed.
Servitude is prohibited except to punish crime. As you can see, this language makes mandatory prison labor legal. Prop 6 would undo that. This sentence would change to read, slavery and involuntary servitude are prohibited. And Prop 6 would add another line of law to the Constitution. The Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation shall not discipline any incarcerated person for refusing a work assignment. That's it. That's the entire prop. For context, yes, required prison labor is a thing. The state analysts tell us about a third of the prison population has jobs, and many earn less than $1 an hour. Prisons use...
So they can just get around this by saying, you've got 10 years in prison, but if you work for 5 years, you'll get out early. See? That's the workaround they're going to figure. They're going to work around this some way.
Carrots and sticks to get inmates working. The carrots, like earning money and credit towards early release, would remain legal if Prop 6 were to pass. The sticks, like losing your phone privileges for refusing to work, those wouldn't be legal anymore. If you look in the official voter guide, you won't find any argument against Prop 6. No one bothered to submit one to the state. A yes vote on Prop 6 would ban forced prison labor. A no vote rejects the measure.
And it had no opposition. Right? Like it was supposed to ban prisons from being able to do that to inmates. No one opposed that ballot measure, and that ballot measure failed.
In California, voters have rejected Proposition 6. It was called yesterday evening. This measure would have ended forced labor in the state's prison system by removing language in the state constitution.
No, that ballot measure outlawed slavery, and it failed.
It failed.
That's disgusting. That should have passed. It should have passed 99 to 1. I don't know who's pro-slavery.
It's because they know the workaround is just increasing the times of the. I guess it helps the people who are currently incarcerated, but they just know, hey, we would normally incarcerate this person for 5 years, but let's incarcerate them for 10 and say that they can work off those 5 years by doing some job. That's it. I mean, there's too many workarounds.
All of a sudden, the pronouns are getting removed from their, their description. I think AOC did that today.
Yeah, AOC did that.
Yeah. Okay. All of a sudden, there's no she, her, blah blah blah.
Love it. All right. Starting off with AOC, she has apparently removed she, her pronouns from her X profile.
And if you guys remember, I said, why are we saying this? If there's a confusion, you say it, you be proud, I love it, I'll back you up, right? But why am I saying he, him, his for me? Just fairly obvious. Like it was virtue signaling.
Yes.
And that when we called it out.
It wasn't just virtue signaling. It was the easiest virtue signaling. So easy. I mean, why donate money? Why serve your local community? Why do a Secret Santa when you can just update your profile bio and put he, him, she, him, she, her? So easy. Why actually work for it?
If you want to know who had it figured out from the beginning, so let's go to an old clip of mine of ours from 2023. This is as it was the busing had begun. Watch this. Look, I said this on day one. I'm going to repeat it even with greater fervor today. I think that what Texas did makes sense. And so I know that a lot of people on the left don't want to hear that. But think about it, guys. So they had this immigration problem all along, and it wasn't spread out to many different states. It was just in Texas and, of course, the other border states. And the federal government kept saying, I don't care. Okay. Now, to be fair to the federal government, it doesn't just quite say that. It has a lot of different programs in place. And the border states said, why? Why do we have to shoulder all of this by ourselves? And started shipping it to other places that were more left-wing and said they were more open to immigrants. So you're open to immigrants? Here you go. Here's immigrants. And now all of a sudden New York realizes, okay, well, being open to immigrants has consequences. They're not welcoming of immigrants. I am. But that doesn't mean that we have to make New Mexico, Texas, and Arizona deal with the whole thing.
Agreed.
No, it means that we all are responsible for our brothers and sisters that are both.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see this clip in 4 years. Can't wait.
I'm not for either party, and I'm going to do my job and my analysis, and I want to make it very clear to people watching the show. Do not expect me to be an activist for any side. That's a losing strategy, especially with the Democrats who just refuse to take any advice, refuse to adjust, refuse to recalibrate. And honestly, when I look at which party has made my life worse, and it's because local politics has more of an impact on your day-to-day life, it's the Democrats. And they need to accept that and change. And if they don't, well, they're going to keep losing support, even in cities like Los Angeles and even in states like California.
Goodbye, everyone. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do so and like the video, share it with your friends and family, and we will see you in the next one. Peace out. Bye.